goal this week is to have sort of done 3 or so of these sort of story inventories of the stories you've written, and to have populated sort of 6 story ideas that you think you might like to write, at least 6 or so of them from your stories and interviews and research that you've done in your content inventory or index. This is going to be that way so you can start to organize yourself, think about what you have left to write ahead. So questions on these 2 tools. Does it make sense? Again, think of this as sort of your to-do list, and think of each individual sort of story inventory as the actual sort of structuring of the story that you're going to write. So this will be very short and punchy so that, again, you and your editor can use it together, whereas the inventories will be much more detailed, and you'll use that to write the entire story. So questions from anyone? Goal of this one really is, again, story is structure. And so think of what you're doing here as structuring it. And the more, essentially every word you write in your inventory of a story inventory, you will structure that into the story. So it's not extra work or make work. It's really just taking the key things you need so that if you think about it, right, if you're going to write something that's going to be, sort of 10 paragraphs, and now you've got 3 great quotes you're going to use, you've got descriptive elements, you've already got the 3Ds from it. We'll talk about next week how to layer in the other pieces behind it. So with that, let's dive through the last pieces here for tonight, and then we'll kind of get you guys out of here. So let me see if I can share the last pieces on this one. So the last things for tonight that we'll go on to, and then we'll kind of get you guys out of here, is this. So key things, right? Continue doing the outreach that you've been doing. And the reason I would tell you to continue doing it is, remember, the goal here is just to plant a bunch of seeds right now, because we're going to be starting to actually write next week, and that will probably start to take more of your mind share. But the more you can continue doing outreach, great. Hopefully last week's outreach push was really helpful. You'll see that continue to pay off. Additionally, what I want you to do is continue a second round of outreach, right? This could be, maybe you do 10 more 5-minute favors, you do more LinkedIn connections, but just carve off time, particularly today and some of the time that you may carve off to do this one. And then start to add at least sort of 6 story ideas to your content index. Put them in there. These are the ideas that you want to write. These are things that they could be personal stories, people you've interviewed, people you've researched, but what are the stories that you're most excited to start to try out and write? And then try to do 3 sort of story inventories this week, and next week we're going to actually turn them into your first passes at stories. So again, if you remember, the goal here is we're going to try and turn write 750 word stories. If you sit down with your inventory, your story inventory, and you write 300 or 400 words, just of like organizing the quotes, organizing the descriptive elements, you start from a place of now you're just structuring that and organizing it into a much better first pass story.